You've probably heard the stories. Dark web hitmen for hire, terrifying red rooms, marketplaces that sell anything if you have enough Bitcoin. Sounds like a horror movie, right? But here's the twist. Most of what you've heard is a myth. The dark web has become a digital urban legend, a place where fact and fear blend into fiction. Movies dramatize it, news outlets sensationalize it. And the result? Millions of people terrified of something they don't actually understand. In this video, we're going beyond the headlines. We'll uncover what the dark web really is, who actually uses it, and why the truth is far less sinister and far more surprising than you've been led to believe. Because the real danger might not be the dark web itself, but the way we've been told to fear it. Before we talk about the dark web's reputation, let's understand what it actually is. Think of the internet like an iceberg. The part above water, the surface web, is what you use every day. Google, YouTube, social media, news sites, it's all public and easily found by search engines. But it's only a tiny fraction of the internet. Just beneath that lies the deep web, and no, that's not shady or illegal. It includes everything search engines can't index. Your private email inbox, online banking, health records, school databases, anything behind a login screen. Then, deeper still, there's the dark web. This isn't a separate internet. It's a hidden part of the existing web, only accessible using special tools like the Tor browser. The dark web's content is encrypted and anonymous. Websites use complex addresses ending in .onion and are not found on Google or Bing. You can't stumble into it by accident. You have to deliberately enter. And here's the thing. Using the dark web isn't illegal. In fact, it was originally created to protect privacy, used by journalists, whistleblowers, even governments. So no, it's not some demonic dimension of the internet. It's just another layer, a hidden one. Here's the first and most common myth about the dark web. Everything on it is illegal. This couldn't be further from the truth. Yes, illegal content exists. Black markets, forged documents, and other criminal elements do operate in dark corners, but they represent only a small portion of the dark web. In fact, much of the dark web is used for perfectly legal and often noble purposes. Think of it like this. Just because crime exists in a city doesn't make the entire city illegal. The same goes for the dark web. Many users go there simply to communicate securely. Human rights activists in authoritarian countries use it to avoid surveillance. Whistleblowers rely on it to leak corruption safely. Journalists use it to protect their sources. Even law enforcement agencies monitor it for intelligence and investigations. And let's not forget, the very tool most associated with the dark web, the Tor network, was developed by the U.S. Navy to protect government communications. Privacy, anonymity, and freedom of speech are the core values that drive much of the dark web. So when someone says the dark web is illegal, what they're really doing is confusing the tools of privacy with the acts of crime. That's like saying knives are evil because someone used one to harm. It's not the tool, it's how it's used. If you've ever heard of the dark web, chances are you've heard about hitmen for hire, drug lords, and weapons dealers lurking just one click away. Hollywood loves this version. It's terrifying. It's dramatic. But here's the truth. Most of it is pure fantasy. Let's talk about those infamous hitman sites. Many of them have been investigated, and nearly all were scams. Some were prank sites. Others were elaborate hoaxes designed to trick people into paying for services that were never delivered. In most real-world cases, when law enforcement dug into supposed dark web assassinations, they found nothing more than fraud. And yes, there were marketplaces, like the Silk Road, where drugs were sold anonymously. But they didn't last. Most have been shut down by international agencies, and the ones that do pop up rarely survive for long. They're unstable, risky, and often crawling with undercover law enforcement. Even when these markets existed, they were heavily exaggerated. You didn't just log on and buy a gun like it was Amazon. It required encryption, trust networks, and weeks of communication. The reality is far less sensational. The dark web is not some criminal superstore. It's more like a hidden alleyway. Yes, there are shady figures, but most users never go near them. The myth survives because it's shocking, but if you go looking for horror, you'll miss the real story. How fear and fiction distorted an entire corner of the internet. So if the dark web isn't just for criminals, who actually uses it? The answer might surprise you. Let's start with journalists. When they're investigating dangerous topics, like war crimes or government corruption, they need a way to protect their sources. Many use platforms like SecureDrop, hosted on the dark web, to receive leaks anonymously. Then there are activists and dissidents living under authoritarian regimes. In countries where free speech can get you arrested, the dark web offers a rare lifeline, a place to access uncensored news, communicate safely, and organize without being watched. Whistleblowers, too, depend on the dark web. Leaking documents about corporate misconduct or government surveillance requires extreme privacy. The anonymity tools built into the dark web make that possible. But it doesn't stop there. Researchers, cybersecurity analysts, and even law enforcement agencies routinely monitor the dark web to track emerging threats, study online behavior, and stop actual crimes before they spread to the surface web. And believe it or not, even regular people use the dark web simply to escape corporate surveillance, to read, chat, or browse without being tracked by advertisers. So the next time someone says only criminals use the dark web, remember, behind the veil of anonymity are journalists, freedom fighters, and ordinary citizens, just trying to stay safe in an increasingly monitored world. If most of the dark web is misunderstood, then why are people so afraid of it? The answer is simple. We fear what we don't understand. The dark web is invisible to Google. It uses strange tools like Tor. Its addresses are unreadable strings of characters. And because it's hidden, the imagination fills in the blanks with worst-case scenarios. Hollywood has fed us this fear for years. In films and series, the dark web is portrayed as a digital nightmare, where killers live stream crimes, where illegal surgeries happen on camera, where hackers rule like digital warlords. The reality, far less cinematic. Most .onion sites look like plain text blogs or simple forums. No glowing red rooms, no movie-style terminals, just basic pages focused on privacy. But fear sells. News outlets exaggerate the dangers to get clicks. Politicians invoke it to justify surveillance laws. The more mysterious it remains, the easier it is to control the narrative. The dark web became a modern boogeyman, not because of what it is, but because of how we've been told to see it. In truth, it's not fearsome, it's unfamiliar, and unfamiliar things are often misjudged. Now let's be clear. While the dark web isn't the digital nightmare it's made out to be, it's not without real dangers. First, malware is everywhere. Clicking on the wrong link can infect your device with spyware, keyloggers, or ransomware. There's no customer support on the dark web. Once your data is gone, it's gone. Then there's phishing and scams. Many dark web marketplaces or services that promise exclusive access are designed to trick newcomers. You might be lured into paying Bitcoin for fake services or downloading a tool that steals your credentials. And yes, there are illegal services and disturbing content, but those are usually buried deep and hard to find. The real issue is that people looking for information might wander into dark territory by accident, out of curiosity, not criminal intent. What's even more concerning is that anonymity works both ways. While it protects whistleblowers, it also shields predators. Some forums are tightly encrypted, and law enforcement often struggles to trace the worst offenders. So the danger isn't just what's there. It's what happens when users believe they're invisible and invincible. The illusion of safety can make people reckless. The dark web isn't inherently evil, but it is an environment where the rules are different, trust is limited, and caution is your only defense. Navigate it like a minefield, carefully, deliberately, and never without preparation. While the dark web is often painted as a threat to public safety in many parts of the world, it's actually a tool for survival. Imagine living in a country where reading independent news is a crime, where your social media is monitored, where speaking your mind could lead to prison, or worse. For millions around the world, this isn't a hypothetical. In those places, the dark web becomes something else entirely, a lifeline. Activists use it to coordinate protests without being tracked. Journalists use it to publish censored stories. Everyday citizens use it to access banned information, blocked websites, and uncensored content. Governments fear the dark web not because it's illegal, but because it's uncontrollable. It undermines censorship. It weakens propaganda. It gives people back a piece of power. For example, during political uprisings in countries like Iran or Myanmar, Tor usage spiked as citizens turned to the dark web to bypass internet shutdowns. In those moments, the dark web isn't a shadowy threat. It's the last refuge of free expression. And that's the contradiction. In free societies, people fear the dark web. In repressive ones, they depend on it. If the dark web has a front door, it's called Tor, short for the onion router. And here's a fact that surprises most people. Tor was created by the U.S. Navy. That's right, the same tool that's now associated with hidden forums and anonymous browsing was originally designed to help the U.S. government protect its own intelligence communications. Today, Tor is maintained by a nonprofit organization and is completely open source. That means anyone can inspect its code, audit its systems, or use it freely. And they do. Human rights organizations, whistleblowers, investigative journalists, and ordinary citizens all rely on Tor to stay private in a digital world where surveillance is increasingly normal. Tor doesn't make you a criminal. It makes you invisible to tracking scripts, corporate profiling, and oppressive censorship. In a way, Tor is like a seatbelt. It doesn't mean you plan to crash, but it protects you just in case. Yes, criminals have used it. But so have Nobel Peace Prize winners, legal watchdogs, and journalists fighting to reveal the truth. We don't judge highways because some people speed. So why do we condemn privacy tools just because someone misused them? Privacy is not a threat. It's a right. And Tor is one of the few tools left that still defends it. So now you might be wondering, should you visit the dark web? The short answer, you can. It's not illegal. But the better question is, are you prepared to do it safely? Visiting the dark web requires caution, not fear. Think of it like exploring an unfamiliar city at night. There are places worth seeing, but also places you should avoid. Please like, subscribe, and press the bell icon for more videos.